One life lost is too many. What can be the option for me? I'd rather be my brother's keeper than to be bad company. Too many lives lost through the wars. Too many young ones behind bars. Too much of the violence in the streets and too many families left scarred. So I beg you, just put down your guns today. Resolve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all the bloodshed. Live and let live, I say. Just put down the guns today. Resolve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all the bloodshed. Live and let live, I say. You see the violence thing, let's stop it. You see the knives and the gun, them drop it. Stop the violence. Please stop the violence. You see the violence thing, let's stop it. You see the knives and the gun, them drop it. Just please give life a chance. Let's stop the violence. So I beg you, just put down your guns today. Resolve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all the bloodshed. Live and let live, I say. Just put down the guns today. Resolve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all the bloodshed. Live and let live, I say. You see the violence thing, let's stop it. You see the knives and the gun, them drop it. Stop the violence. Please stop the violence. You see the violence thing, let's stop it. You see the knives and the gun, them drop it. Just please give life a chance. Let's stop the violence. Oh, let's stop it. Them drop it.
Former groovy Monarch Sly with his contribution to national efforts. Let's stop it, put down the guns and the knives and stop the violence today. Show some love, peace, love, and respect. 70 homicides so far for the year. We hope that number does not increase. Just about 7:45 this morning, I'll play you the Prime Minister's comments. Perhaps you haven't heard it on this network thus far. You'll hear this morning Prime Minister Pierre rejecting the recommendations made to him in an official communique by the former leader Alan Chasney. Stay with us for that. So we must apologize to you. We had a short break in continuity. My technicians rectified, and let me just advise you, this is our final week on the platform for 2022. We end on Friday for Christmas break. We're going to recoup, refocus, review what has been, I think, a very exciting past of 5 months. So we'll do that during the Christmas break, and we'll resume on January 9th. 2023 with some new features. Ask the Advocate with Nigel Tuesday. I'll share the flyer later. And we have another big one coming. I'm hoping that the host of that segment, who is a professional of regional and international experience in crime fighting and national security matters, I'm hoping I get his buy-in for the title. I want to call it a Crime Watch. 2 new features coming to this platform next season, season 2. It starts off on January the 9th. The first feature has already been called Ask the Advocate and will be hosted by our attorney at law, Nigel Tuesday. And the second one will be hosted, is already confirmed as the host by well-experienced professional attorney as well, but he's experienced regionally and internationally in legal matters, crime solving, national security. I hope I get his buy-in. I know he's always watching to call that segment Crime Watch. Coming season 2 on Good Morning St. Lucia from January 9th. During the break, somebody was saying, Shannon, you maybe should up the stake on the soil giveaways this morning. $20 fuel in your tank. My viewer was saying, it's perhaps not attractive. $20 is just like a drop in the tank, I'm told. So here's what we're going to do. We'll give you $20 fuel in your tank, and I'll also give you a 20-pound refill, a 20-pound voucher of cooking gas. So that's, you know how much is the cooking gas? The cooking gas is almost $50. You know, a bus driver this weekend reminded me it's almost $50. So I'll give you $20 gas in your tank and a $20 refill. So 20 pound, not $20, 20 pound refill voucher. That works out great if you can simply tell me what is the Sol tagline for Salt Petroleum here in St. Lucia. Good. In the next hour, I'll ask another question from another corporate partner. Continue to stay with us. And just about 6:45 this evening, we'll hear from Philip J. Pierre, the island's Prime Minister. My first guest is already on the platform. Let me say good morning. He's in Sulphur City, Soufriere. Hi, Jimmy. Good morning.
You.
Hi, Jimmy. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm doing fine. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Many happy returns to you.
I have my fingers crossed that you will be switching on your video, sir.
It's a bit early in the morning.
A bit early in the morning, Jimmy says. You're in one of the most picturesque parts of the island. You're in Soufriere, Choiseul, the cultural capitals of St. Lucia. Jimmy Haynes is on with me, friend of the show. He is a concerned citizen and an activist in the southern portion of St. Lucia. Don, do we have a card for Jimmy? Previously, he's been on a few times. Don is checking, so I'll hold on for now. How's things shaping up, Jimmy, in the south for Christmas this time around?
Well, it's I mean, I'm in Choiseul as we speak.
Yeah.
I'm not in Soufriere today. It's a bit unusual. It's a bit strange that the normal sounds and smells and activities that take place before Christmas seem to be absent this time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's probably late rather than absent.
Yes.
The spirit, I'm not feeling it yet, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it will come.
Yeah,
Better late than never.
Better late than never. Traditionally, by now you would have felt the vibrations, but I want to precurse that by saying as well that we are traditionally perhaps a late society in terms of a last-minute society. So hopefully things will get going. But as you said, Mr. Haynes, there is that feel that it's not the normal Christmas. People are just hoping in anticipation that things will improve. Jimmy, you were one of the first people I called when we heard reports that two of members of the business community who have been resident here in St. Lucia were attacked and shot in the town of Soufriere. You were pretty close to that event. How's the community recovering since?
Well, it's a bit strange in St. Lucia that in some quarters it's like it never happened. I'm actually close to one of the victims, the survivor.
Yeah.
And so I spoke to him last week. He seems to be okay. He was walking around town already. And in speaking to my fellow colleagues, there is some anxiety. There is a certain sense of fear, especially since there's another member of the Soufriere community who was just recently, she was a victim of a home invasion,
Mm-hmm.
and was assaulted sexually and physically in Vieux-Fort.
Mm-hmm.
So there is in Soufriere now, there's a sense of fear among the business people, and people even at their homes are a bit scared of what will happen. It's affected the actual night activity around. There are some people who are staying away from night entertainment, etc. in the town.
Yeah, normally one of the quiet and more peaceful, tranquil locations on the island, Soufriere town. What do you think, Jimmy, can be done to restore confidence to the Soufrierians? I hope they don't mind me calling them on national television, but the residents of Soufriere in particular, those who call Soufriere home, and as well as the business community.
I think what's really needed is a more emphatic approach from the government, a more no-nonsense approach, a clearer statement directly to the criminals, to the perpetrators of this violent crime, this spiraling violent crime.
Mm-hmm.
I think the government's statements so far have been a bit, wishy-washy. They haven't been they haven't been as forceful as we believe they could be. And they haven't been directed at the criminals themselves to let them know that that this government and the police force is not going to tolerate crime, and that they will go after them wherever they are and bring them to justice. I think that's such a clear and forceful statement. It would be welcomed by the community.
Yeah, Jimmy, you still have a shooter on the loose following the murder of the manager of the Sufra estate. The perpetrator, from all indications, is still on the loose. Do you get a sense within the community that people are apprehensive, not quite sure what is happening or who when maybe next?
I think it's evident to most people that this was a targeted hit, and that the assailant was, or the what we call him, the person who murdered the Donny was after Donny and no one else. So I think that in itself, it was like a paid hit or targeted hit. And so people are not too concerned about being the next victim from this particular assassin. However, the news around the country where there's random shootings, especially drive-by shootings, what happened in Babonneau a couple of weeks ago at this vigil, these, I think, have not just in Supra, I mean, in Swazel, where I am presently, that's the topical issue right now. It's what's been discussed by people in the rum shops, on the roadsides, at homes, etc., where people are wondering who's next, when's the next number coming from, and how many is going to be for the year.
We're hoping that the numbers for the year don't increase. Just stay with me, Jimmy. I know from your vantage point, it's an opportunity for you to continue to encourage the community of Soufrière and Choiseul to play their part in the national crime fight.
Yes, although again, you know, everything depends on leadership, and we take our cue from our leaders. That's the type of society that we are, and that's how humankind, human beings, being a social being, that's how we respond. While the Prime Minister has encouraged us all, or actually given us the passed on the responsibility to us all in sort of being alert and managing crime, we haven't, as a citizenry, been given certain instructions or guidance as to what exactly our role should be. How we should report, whether there's a number where people can call in anonymously to report, whether people should be bringing in their firearms, their illegal firearms. We're not getting that sort of direction again from the leadership in this country, and that's missing, unfortunately.
I think the number, if we so to guide the public, the number to call us 555. It's the police hotline 555, and it's an anonymous number. Jimmy, you would have heard the recent statement from the Commissioner Pelleus?
Yes.
Your humble opinion and review.
I mean, I don't envy this Commissioner Pelleus's position right now. I think it would have been great whether I know probably the government's hands are tied and they can't appoint this lady, confirm her appointment. She's still an acting commissioner. And so probably that it comes across weakly. It's a bit diluted. I don't think, again, compared to what her statement with the statement made by the commissioner in Barbados recently. And then we will get a better impression of what people like me believe is necessary in St. Lucia. Yeah. I mean, it was good that she came out and spoke, but again, while she spoke, people just before her or after her, the Prime Minister spoke, and he basically removed the edges from her speech. He reduced the strength
of the message
and the authority that she was supposed to convey.
By politicizing the situation, you think?
By politicizing it, and again, defraying the blame, sending the blame to other people. The Prime Minister was the Prime Minister solicited suggestions and ideas from the citizenry as to how to address crime, how to bring some form of control to the spiral in crime. Yet at the same time, he dismisses the first public suggestion that he received.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
It came from his...
I'm agreeing with you, Jimmy. The messaging must be on the same tone. It must be the same message. So here you have the police commissioner, rightfully so, calling for the national support. You had the Prime Minister immediately after muddying the water and politicizing the discussion. We'll hear from the Prime Minister in just a bit. Jimmy, just hold on. I think we have somebody on the line, and then we'll continue. Jimmy Haynes is on there. There's an activity in Sufra that I want to give attention. Shuzel Sufra, I want to give attention to. But we have a caller. Let's patch him through, Dan. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Mr. Haynes.
Good morning, friend of the show. Nice to have you on as always.
Yes. Oh, and before I make my contribution, Shannon, definitely the $20 is not attractive at this time because you spend more money going to collect that price.
Oh my! Well, the public bus is still. Well, I was given 20 gas and a $20. You know what? We'll give some more fuel in the tank.
Yeah,
but
I think the fuel definitely needs to be up.
But caller, you know it's not my fault, and I was not the one who promised to reduce the gas.
Okay, so going back to your discussion now, I would like to ask Shannon if you are aware whether the Prime Minister was in receipt of that letter before it was placed on Facebook.
That's interesting. I would try to do some investigation to ascertain, but I think the more professional thing would have been for the Prime Minister to have received it first. I'm not sure who or where it was placed on Facebook though.
Right. So that would be my concern, because if we have to act responsibly, and suggestions are being sent to the Prime Minister by the leader of the opposition, and before he gets it, it's on Facebook, then I think it defeats the purpose of that cooperation, you understand? So that I would like to know. So having said that, if it was done in that way, I have not listened to the Prime Minister's commentary. I'm hoping you'll play it sometime this morning. But if there were some good suggestions in there and it was just shut down completely like he did the last suggestions, reducing it to the garbage heap, that doesn't augur well for cooperation with the citizenry, because if it's not being done at the top, why would the bottom follow suit? You understand? So I think it's a very poor example by the Prime Minister. But having said that, I would like to know what the chain was insofar as that letter, whether it was received by him a week or two already, and then having not received any response, or getting that kind of response, then it was placed in the public domain. Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you, caller. We will investigate when the Prime Minister received this letter. I know the letter was published on social media by the former Prime Minister 5 days ago.
Right. Okay, great.
Thanks so much. And caller, if you're still there, or if he's listening, I know he listens always. Your prize that you would have won is available for collection anytime from 9. You just walk with proper identification at our Fortune Studios. Jimmy, you're still with me, correct?
Yes, I am.
You heard the contribution from the caller?
No, I heard your summarization of it, but I did not hear
He
it.
was saying he's disappointed in the Prime Minister's response, but he's also interested in finding out whether or not the Prime Minister would have received the letter prior to it being made public.
Well, I suppose there may be, I'm not sure what the protocol is on open letters. However, to me, the protocol isn't that as important as the issue itself.
As the issue or the message or the content of the letter.
Exactly, and that sort of ego or pride should be relegated in terms of crisis, national crisis.
Yeah. What do you think should have been the response? Perhaps a meeting for invitation where the Prime Minister can choose his camera and PR team best to shoot that sort of thing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Prime Minister shouldn't have even commented on the actual. He should have welcomed the leader of the opposition and announced that he would reach out to him to discuss the recommendations made.
Especially
He
now.
should have thanked
Yeah.
him for it. And that's the manner in which he should respond to every recommendation, by first thanking the person for taking the time out to make the recommendations and to promise a response and a discussion.
Yeah. But Prime
And I think the Prime Minister's first motivation, unfortunately, was to indulge or engage in partisan politicking.
Unfortunate, but the Prime Minister decides to operate in his own liking. Jimmy, let's move on. We have a situation in the South where you are collaborating with some of your residents to address what has been a problem of concern for the people of the communities in Choiseul. Tell us what are you planning to do? I think it happens this coming weekend, is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you. Well, basically, like many communities in St. Lucia, and this is not a recent thing, like many communities in St. Lucia, the roads, especially secondary roads, are in abysmal condition. In our community of Delcel, La Pointe, Industry, and the surrounding communities of Ravino, Foncillou, Esperance, these roads are terrible. And they've been that way for a while, but in the most recent history, maybe the last 12 or so months, the condition has steadily deteriorated. And we've spoken to our parliamentary representative, Mr. Bradley Felix, and no funds are being made available to address the condition of the roads. So like we've done in the past, and we've done so on our own, we've done so with the help of organizations in the past. For example, in 2017, we did so in collaboration with the Sucre Foundation. We have sort of pooled our resources, and we've organized a project. And the name of the project is Let's Help Ourselves. And that's basically, in St. Lucia, there is this tendency for people to wait on others to do for themselves what they can do for themselves. We've always waited on government. You know, people have blocked drains near their homes and they call on the government to unblock the drains where they can do so themselves. So we've come together and we've sort of reached out to the community to help to donate cement and ready mix aggregate and sand, and to provide trucking services and their labor. And on Sunday, we're hoping that we will have a great turnout to put in concrete into those huge potholes that we have throughout the length of the community roads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the feedback has been good from residents. They have chipped in the little that they have to make this happen as well.
Yes, the feedback is improving. Initially, it wasn't very encouraging, but some of the small businesses have come out and supported. We have been able to bring in the Choiseul Minibus Association, especially those buses that ply that bus route. Mm-hmm. And they have come on board because recently, I think as earlier this year, the Choiseul Minibus Association led a similar type effort in the communities of Matin, Montrouge, and Lewish, those mm-hmm. roads which were almost unmotorable. Mm-hmm. So they've come on board. Local businesses have come on board. There is a local resort in the area, mm-hmm. Delce. They have come on board and assisted, made a substantial contribution.
Excellent.
And so the contributions are coming in because we're getting in the responses. Many people have pledged to assist. And in the whole spirit of giving for Christmas and sharing the love, you know, we're very optimistic and very hopeful that we will have a successful project, and we'll be able to address the roads as far back as Sabuisha. Incidentally, Sabuisha is the location where the new hotel project is going to take place. So these roads lead into our communities. Unfortunately, the road from Itangs, that is the road that connects Soufre down to those communities, that road runs into Fonjalib, which is the entrance to the Gros Piton Nature Trail, and the communities there of Montlacroix, and comes down into Delsey. That road has been blocked because the road is terrible, absolutely terrible. And there's recently, maybe the last, 5 or 6 months ago, there was a landslide about 100 or so meters from the entrance of that road from Etans. It took away about a third of the width of the road, and it's very dangerous. We've got people driving down that, especially tourists who are not familiar with the road and driving at night. So the government has closed that road, and I'm hoping that there is going to be a project to attend to that road. In the meantime, the road now goes through all the way up to Victoria, down towards Montrouge, into Ravenel and Boisden before it gets to Delsey. That road is absolutely a nightmare to travel through. The potholes are so large and they're so deep, and there's no way of escaping these potholes when you drive through it. And we're going to try to address those roads. So we're calling on the people from all of these communities to stop thinking about this is the responsibility of government, and to come out and give whatever you can, from $5, $1, cement, whatever you can. We're also going to be cooking food on the Sunday. So at the end of the project, in the afternoon, we're all going to come together and have a Christmas meal and a Christmas drink to celebrate not only coming together to do something that's so very vital for the community and for the businesses and the minibuses and the tourism which goes around, and just basically commerce in the area. But also we're going to share some Christmas spirit.
Yeah. Excellent community gesture, excellent initiative, Jimmy. I want to wish you and the organizers all the very best this coming Sunday. Do us a favor, take some photos so we can showcase on our social media platforms, and we encourage you to continue to advocate. If they're not going to do their job, Jimmy, and fix your roads, at least you help yourselves.
Yes, well, thank you very, very much for giving us this platform to spread the word. And we're hoping also that the other communities in St. Lucia across the island will take a leaf from our book and to do the same. You know, the roads are terrible across the country, and it's unfortunate that the program, which was started by the previous administration, where they applied a $1.50 road tax to the per gallon of gas, and used those funds to on a national road rehabilitation program. It's unfortunate that this government has not continued the program, although they continue to.
Hey, Jimmy, remember,
Yes?
People don't eat roads, Jimmy.
Well, you know, we don't eat the physical road in
I was just nudging you. I was just nudging you.
I know, but what I was about to say is we eat as a result of having good roads.
And I made that point strongly. I recall when the JICA funded bridge in Cul-de-sac was being launched a few years ago. I made that point strongly because it happened a few days after the island was disconnected following the trough. Remember, there was this major landslide, and a portion of the Battle had fallen off. So the bridge launch happened immediately after that. And I would make the point that the example of what we saw along the Battle was evidence that even though sufficient evidence that people need roads to eat, because you had the country being disconnected. People could not shift goods to and from various locations. People could not get to work to do the hours to make the income to feed their own families. So it was real cheap to have prospective leaders saying people don't eat roads. But I was just nudging you there. Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. The roads are bad, and I could hear a lady in Laclery, an elderly lady, saying my road too. So Jimmy, good job to you and the residents in Choiseul, and all the best this weekend.
Yes, thank you, and I'd like to wish you happy holidays, and all the best. I'd like to wish everybody in St. Lucia happy holidays. We're hoping that this crime wave is gonna subside and get under control, and that we'll move into 2023 and have what we always pray for: a safe and prosperous New Year.
Stay safe, my good man, and I hope you find some cheer during the festive season as well.
Thank you.
Nice. Friend of the show, Jimmy Haynes, I'm coming on again this weekend. They will be on the road trying to help themselves. Dan, can you just put the graphic up for me one last time? Excellent. Let's help ourselves. Saturday, December 18th. Sunday, December 18th. We need you. They will be blocking some potholes. Oh boy. Some concrete can block a hole, definitely. Thank you, Don. We can take it down now. We have prizes galore today. Prizes galore. Good morning, Cleopatra. Always nice having you on. Let me say hi to our friends in